Okay, so I just recorded a really long video clip and the audio didn't come out at all. So let's try this again. I'm going to do a very condensed version. So recently you saw me do a video on the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack. I like the tires so well I decided to pick up a different set that will fit this Nissan Frontier SV. So what we got here is the Wrangler DuraTrack in a load range D, as in dog. And I put them on the bathroom scales. They came in at 52.5 pounds. So that's one of the most lightweight tires you're going to find in a 33-inch variety. I put the level up here because this is how I like to measure to take all the guesswork out. Put the level on the top of the tire, measure from the bottom edge of the level to the ground, and I get exactly 32.5 inches. Now obviously the tire's not mounted on a wheel yet. So after you mount the tire on a wheel and then you put the weight of the vehicle on there, usually you're going to lose about 3/4 of an inch of that. So after I mount these tires on the truck, I'm probably looking at about 31.75 of an inch in diameter. We'll call it 31.8 inches. That's where they should measure out after they're mounted. The stock tires that come on the SV version of the Nissan Frontier are 30 inches tall. So I'm going to gain about 1.8 inches of diameter. If you cut that in half, that's less than an inch of additional ground clearance, but it's something. And the tires will look better and they will perform better as well. So I think it's going to be great. So 52.5 pounds, about a 32-inch tire realistically. It's a 285/70 R17 load range D is how they're actually sized. The tread width, which I like to always measure, is 9.5 inches. I don't really care so much about the section width. The tread width is what I really care about. My personal rule of thumb is the tread width needs to be equal to or slightly greater than the wheel width. That will give you the best wear and the best appearance and the best performance overall on the wheel of the truck. Now on the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack, you obviously have the white letters on one side. The other side is a black wall side. So I'm thinking that I'm going to probably run these on the Nissan, what we call the Snowflake Wheel. Let me get this stuff out of the way here. I think with this particular wheel, what Nissan was kind of going for was that old-fashioned Nissan hard-body truck look. You remember the late 1980s and early 90s, those Nissan hard-body pickups had a wheel on them that was very similar to this. It's kind of a Nissan trademark. I really wish they had painted these a different color. You know, I'm not a big fan of the bright silver paint jobs on wheels. If they had put like an anthracite or dark charcoal finish on these wheels, they would have been sweet. I guess you could go and have them powder coated that color if you really wanted to bad enough. But man, I wish they had just done that from the factory. So I've kind of considered putting some aftermarket wheels on this thing. But that's just a lot of additional cost, and the truck is right now being leased. So everything I'm doing to the truck right now is easily reversible, and I don't want to get too carried away. All I've done so far is just a very small lift kit and an intake kit. Don't want to get carried away with it right now. But anyway, so I've thought about some aftermarket wheels, but I don't think I'm going to go that way. I think I'm just going to put these DuraTracks on the factory wheels, and they'll be just fine. Might even do the white letter side out. But yeah, the DuraTrack being so lightweight, one of the big reasons I decided to go with this right now is because it will not affect the fuel economy nearly as bad as some of those heavier 10-ply tires in this class. Being just a 52-pound tire and putting them on the lightweight factory wheels probably won't see a significant decrease in the fuel economy. And we're going to do some testing with that and find out. I'm not going to go over all the technology that's in this tire again because I just did that in the previous video. But 13 years later, this tire, which made the hybrid category so popular, still has technology in it that you don't find in the other tires, which I really like. And it is rated for the severe snow usage. You know, if you're going to use this in an area where that's important to you, you got to have that mountain snowflake symbol on your tire. This does have that. And I just kind of like the tread layout. I don't think it's going to throw gravel as bad all over the truck. Man, I'll tell you what, the tighter that the tread blocks, the worse it throws gravel. Even these stock Michelin tires are throwing a ton of gravel on this truck right now when I'm going down the road out here. So these open tread blocks I think are going to be beneficial for me for that reason. And overall, I believe this tire will just work really great for my use, which is rural in all weather conditions and sometimes off-road as well. I think this will be a great tire. We're going to try it again. It's been several years since I ran a set of these. How do these compare to all the modern tires that have come out over the last couple of years that we've tried on this channel? We'll find out soon enough. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Discount Tire now. There is a store about a little over an hour away from me. So I purchased these online through their online site, and then I usually go to a Discount Tire store to have them put on. They do a great job balancing the larger tires. And so let's go pop these on the truck and let's see how they're going to perform on this 22 Nissan Frontier. All right, so I made it to Discount Tire. One of the interesting things I noticed on the way here, I reset the trip meter, and as you can see, it's 43.3 miles. Well, on the GPS, I actually drove 44.3 miles. I lost exactly 1 mile on the odometer here in this distance. So the odometer with the stock wheels and tires on it is counting fairly slow. It's not counting miles as quickly as it should be, which I find to be very interesting. So when I put these taller wheels and tires on here, it's going to exacerbate that problem. The odometer is going to be reading quite a bit more slowly than it should. So when I do my fuel economy calculations, I will have to take that into account, and I will also have to start looking for a programmer or some way that I can adjust my instruments here and make them accurate again. But anyway, just wanted to throw that tidbit out there. Let me go in here and get these tires put on, and we'll see what they look like. So I'm on my way home from the tire shop. Initial impressions, I mean, the Goodyear Duratracs are always really quiet tires, at least at first. Seems like the first set of these that I ran, they were quiet like this for a couple of rotations. And then about the third rotation cycle, they started to pick up some noise in them. So, you know, a lot of tires are that way. They're quiet at first, but they may get some noise in them later on. But anyway, right now they're super quiet. Typical Goodyears, they're hard to balance. The shop does, you know, a really good job, the one that I go to. Never had any trouble with them balancing large tires, but these still have just a little bit of shimmy in them, even though the machine said okay on all four of them. That's just a typical Goodyear thing. These tires are always super hard to balance for some reason, but I've noticed that the odometer this time was 3 miles slow compared to GPS on the way back home. I lost 1 mile going up on the stock tires. I've lost 3 miles coming back on these aftermarket tires. So like I said, I got to find some way maybe to rectify that issue, but so far so good. I've only got very minor rubbing in the front end, and here in just a moment we'll take a peek and show you where it is that these tires are actually rubbing. So I just got home, and my goodness is it dusty around here. This drought that we're in means that the gravel road is just pure dust. So this truck is filthy one trip in, but you can see the tires, at least they look really good, don't they? I think they definitely fill out the wheel wells a little more. They actually look very proportional on the truck, I think. And I mean, it just really makes it look like a pickup truck. And so, you know, I'm gonna have to do some math and see where my fuel economy is now. I'm really curious, but I'm hoping 17-ish. I should fall in that ballpark somewhere around 17, which won't be too bad. That won't be too bad at all. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on how these tires do. But there was one spot over here in the front. Let's go see if we can see where it's been rubbing, and it only rubbed like at full lock. So of course I took the air dam off, but you can kind of see right in there on this plastic section up in the front. If you turn full lock in the parking lot, it rubs right there. But so far that's the only spot that I've noticed it rubbing. It doesn't seem to be making contact back here in the back, only up here in the front. So yeah, I was a little bit concerned about that too. I didn't want to get the tires on and be all the way over in Louisville at the tire shop, and then they rub really bad and they're not usable. So then I'm like, well, heck, now what do I do? You know, I didn't want to deal with that. So I was glad to see that they fit just fine. So anyway, there they are. That's a 285/70 R17 on the 3rd gen Frontier, and they fit like a glove. Now, I do have a 2-inch lift on this truck, but I've seen some guys on the forum that have done this even without the 2-inch lift. And of course they look a little tighter, but they do fit. I think that with the 2-inch lift, it's pretty much perfect. I mean, the tires are 2 inches taller than the stock tires, so the 2-inch lift complements it perfectly, and you end up getting the factory proportions all the way around, you know, kind of maintained, so it works out good. But anyway, there we go, guys, and these should work out really well for me. We'll do an update later on. Thanks for watching.